In Geometry Section 2.8, we're dealing with angle relationships, and basically we're going to try to figure out how angles can relate to each other. The first one that we're going to go over, the angle addition postulate, is something that you probably are already used to, is when we were dealing with segment addition postulates. Do you remember that theorem where when you have a line and it's broken with another point, you can take this segment plus this segment equals the entire segment. So you can essentially do the same thing here. You can apply that same concept. So if I have this angle PQS, okay, angle PQS, so this entire angle can be broken down to two angles, PQR and RQS. So just like the segment addition postulate, with the angle addition postulate, I do the same thing. So PQS equals angle PQR plus angle RQS. Alright? So again, it's the segment addition postulate applied to angles. The supplement theorem, the term supplement, means it adds up to 180 degrees. Alright? So what that means is that whatever 1 and 2 are, because they make a straight line, angle 1 plus angle 2 will always equal 180 degrees. Okay? Because they make what is called a linear pair, which is a straight line which adds up to 180. The term complement theorem comes from your vocabulary complementary, and if you remember that, that's a 90 degree, angles that make up 90 degrees. So essentially a right angle. Okay? So what that means is this adds up to 180, this one adds up to 90 degrees. Okay? So what this is telling me is angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees. So this angle plus this angle equal 90 degrees. And this one adds up to 180 degrees, so complement and supplement. And those are two vocabulary words that you've seen before, but now they have a theorem that's stated. So go ahead and pause this and write it down. Don't forget to do your vocabulary as well. And we have one more word of concepts to go over. The first one you've seen before, and this one again we're just giving a theorem to it. This is called the vertical angles theorem. So if you remember about vertical angles, is that vertical angles are always what? Congruent. Okay? So they are always congruent. And again, vertical angles are created by two intersecting lines. Alright? So once I find two intersecting lines, then the angles across from each other make what is called a vertical angle. So angle 1 is a vertical angle with angle 4, and so because they're vertical, they're equal. And what else is vertical? Angle 2 and is equal to angle 3. And finally we have the right angles theorem, and this basically gives you the information of right angles. So for example, theorem 2.9 says perpendicular lines equal 4 right angles. So when lines are perpendicular, they intersect. These ones intersect, but this one intersects in a special way that it hits it at a 90 degree angle. And if it hits one at a 90 degree angle, this means that all 4, this is a right angle, this is a right angle, this is a right angle. And right angles equal what? 90 degrees. Okay? 2.10 says all right angles are equal. It's because they all equal 90 degrees, so therefore they're all the same. And theorem 2.13 says two congruent angles that form a linear pair, and the term linear pair means what? Supplementary, which is another term for 180 degrees, equals right angles. Okay, so that means if you have two congruent angles, two congruent angles that make a linear pair, then they each have to be 90 degrees. Go ahead and pause this and write this down. And we're going to start our examples. The first one says, if angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair, so we have a linear pair means a straight line, and somewhere here, and this might not be accurate, but somewhere there's angle 1 and angle 2, okay? And it tells me that angle 2 is 166 degrees. Now, as you can see, my picture is not necessarily accurate, but I can change the picture up. You don't have to, but I can change it up to look at 166 degrees. And they want me to find what? Angle 1, right? So again, I knew how to draw the picture because it gave me these key terms linear pair. And we discussed in class finding key words. So this is the key term linear pair, and that linear pair allows me to know that it automatically adds up to 180 degrees. It's a supplement theorem. It states that if something creates a linear pair or it creates a straight line, then it is 180. So I know that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. This is because of the supplement theorem. Now, you don't have to write this, but I just want to write this so you understand. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees because the supplement theorem allows you to do that, right? So I'm going to take, I know what angle 2 is. I don't know what angle 1, so I know what angle 2 is, which is 166 equals 180, and I did what? Substitution here. I substituted angle 2 with 166. And then what do? I'm going to, just like simple math, I'm going to subtract 166 from both sides. And then I end up with this cancels out. This is angle 1 equals 170, nope, just 14. This would be it would be 14. And what I did here, oh sorry, it's angle 1. Angle 1 equals 14 because of subtraction. I'm just going to put a subtraction sign. Okay, so again, you don't need this, it's not going to stay, but I just want to show you what I did. Now, all I needed to do basically was take 180 and subtract 166, but I wanted to show you the process. We know that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 because of the supplement theorem. And I subtract both sides, which gives me a substitution because I substituted angle 2 and 166, and then I subtracted to get angle 1 equals 14. Okay? Our next problem is if angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. So let's say we have two intersecting lines, and angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. And measure of angle 1 is d minus 32, and measure of angle 2 equals 175 minus d. And they want me to find angle 1 and angle 2. Well, I know with the vertical angle theorem that what? Vertical angles are always congruent. So angle 1 equals angle 2 because of the vertical angle. So if I find one of these is the same thing as both of them. So I know that angle 1 equals d minus 32. And I know that angle 2 equals 175 minus 2d. This is substitution. I substituted angle 1 for what it's worth and angle 2. And then from here I solve. I'm going to go ahead and add 2d to both sides. I end up with 3d minus 32 equals 175. What do I do next? I'm going to add 32 to both sides. Okay? And then I end up with 3d equals 207. Whoops, let's check here. And then $175 plus 32, 207, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. This and this cancel out. 270 divided by 3 is 69. Now, please pay attention that this problem is not done. I run out of room on the board. But it's not done because it's not asking me to find D. It wants me to find angle 1 and 2. So how would I go about doing that? Well, I'm going to take this, okay, and I'm going to plug it in for D. It doesn't matter which one because they're supposed to be equal. So I do, this one is angle 1 equals D minus 32. So I'm going to replace D with 69, so 69 minus 32, which would give me 37. So because angle 1 is 37, angle 2 is 37, so both of my angles are 37. So go ahead and try page 129, number 1 and 2. Page 129, number 1 and 2, and bring that into class. And we have one more example problem. And it's one of your favorites, which is proofs. Or a proof. I know you're just jumping with joy right now. But this is our last problem. We're going to break this down so that you guys can best understand it. And always, 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 we're going to start with a given. We always start with our given. I'm going to redraw this line here. So, my first step tells me that angle 1 and angle 4 are a linear pair. This is my given. Okay? My next one is that angle 3 plus angle 1 equals 180. This is also given. So, I might have mentioned it in class, and maybe not. I think I mentioned it in one section or another. But here, your reasons is what you should start with. A lot of people think that you should come up with a statement and figure out the reasons. First, figure out the reasons and then apply it to our problem. Okay? So you should already know what this reason is. For example, this is talking about linear pair. Well, I know that anytime something is linear pair, it adds up to 180. What allows me to do that? The supplement theorem. So so I have the supplement theorem here. So the supplement theorem tells me that a linear pair, this is the key word, so angle 1 plus angle 4 equals what? 180 degrees, because of the supplement theorem. Okay? So, from here, I can figure out that 2 and 3 are both equal to what number? 180. Okay, and there's a special theorem that we know that if they're equal to the same thing, we can cross out what they're equal and make them equal to each other. Do you remember that theorem? It's a theorem called the transitive theorem, which you use a lot in your assignment. So the next step is to take out 180. And so since this is 180, angle 3 plus angle 1 equals angle 1 plus angle 4. This is called the transitive. Okay? Now, because these are both angle 1, I can do a simple math problem, which I can subtract angle 1 from both sides. Okay? If I subtract, this cancels out and this cancels out, and I end up with angle 3 equals angle 4. And what step did I do? Just a simple subtraction. So hopefully you understand that process. Probably the last two steps are something that kind of review, but the supplement theorem is the new one. But remember, a lot of times in proofs, they're trying to use the theorems and the postulates that they've already given you, or the new ones that they've given you. So go ahead and try page 129, number 3. It's a fill-in one. And bring that to the assignment, and I hope you understand. If not, we'll go over it in class.